Welcome back everyone to episode number 4 of the Tricks and Traps Speedrun. So I'm coming into today rated 707, and I'm excited to play some more tricky and trappy chess. So let's hop into the first game. Okay, first opponent playing Yossi N, rated 699. And I'm going to play King's Pawn, e5. And can we get a Stafford Gambit to start the episode? We don't. We have a 3 knights. Let's make it a 4 knights. There are some tricks that can arise from this position. Specifically after bishop c4, this is a center fork trick. And it's very, very common, especially at this rating level. White has developed the pieces very naturally, but this is already considered to be a bit preferable for black. I'll be winning back the minor piece, taking over the center. Now there are a few options for white. There's bishop takes d5, there's bishop b5, bishop d3. But in all these lines, I win back the minor piece. Now there is a fun line. If we see bishop d3, of course the most natural move is to take the knight, but there's a cool move to play f5 to just leave the knight attacked by both pawns. And then once the knight moves, I have e4 to fork again. So I might go for that if my opponent plays bishop d3. But white's taking a very long think here, up over a minute on the clock. I've probably had this position, if I had to guess, probably over 100 games in my lifetime. Had this a lot growing up as a scholastic player. Now bishop b3 is not the most common move. Opponent's trying to attack f7, but yeah, I'll just take the free knight. It seems like this is a commonly missed diagonal at this rating level. And now I'm going to go for the kill. Bishop h3, threatening mate in 1. If g3, I can win more material. But I think if g3, I'll play knight d4 and try and just attack and checkmate as quickly as possible. And at this point, there's not really too many options for white. So white resigns. Yeah, pretty brutal game for my opponent. Kind of stumbled into this opening variation. Yeah, this is basically why bishop c4 is not played at a high level. More common here is pawn d4 or bishop to b5. One thing to note as well, if my opponent takes on f7, this is one way to kind of give back the piece and then take. But black is still very happy here after d5, taking over the center. Knight g5, there's king g8, and yeah, black is still doing very well here. So let's keep it going. Up to 721. Playing Trumper Tiesto. Black again. And at some point I'll probably mix up the opening repertoire. Maybe play some other tricky openings that are not e5 against e4. But for now I'm sticking with my Stafford Gambit repertoire. So if takes, I'll play knight c6. We see bishop c4. This is the so-called, or the beginning of the so-called Bodin-Kizeritsky. If I take on e4, white can play knight c3. It's basically a reverse Stafford Gambit. I'm going to be, what do I want to do? I want to be tricky somehow. Debating between bishop c5, but I think I'm just going to play knight to c6, inviting the beginning of the fried liver. And there are some fun lines that black can play against knight g5, which unfortunately my opponent doesn't play. White's playing a more solid Italian. So it's hard to be tricky against such an opening, at least early on. So the plan here is to develop naturally and then try and create some maybe quick attacks in the middle game. Yeah, I'll play d6. And it's completely symmetrical. But one of the main ideas in the structure, let's say white castles, I can go for a quick bishop g4 and knight d4. Try and target the pinned knight, and then also try and ruin white's pawn structure. So that's one way to be aggressive early. If white does the same thing to me, bishop g5, I haven't committed to castling yet, so I can go for h6 and potentially g5 and still try and expand and attack on the king side. So I know this is not the most exciting opening position after 5 moves, but it can still get spicy if my opponent walks into one of these lines. I think at a high level, knight a4 is one of the most common ideas to try and get the bishop pair. But my opponent plays knight g5, so attacking f7. I'm in the castle. It's kind of the standard reply to defend f7. And I'm not at all scared of takes and takes and takes and takes. I think I had at least a couple games similar to this line in the beginner to master speed run, where it's very beneficial for black if white trades the 2 minor pieces for rook and pawn. So minor pieces can be used to attack in the middle game. And usually in the middle game, rooks aren't as valuable as the minor pieces. And very likely next move, I'll probably continue with h6, try and make the knight move back, and then do my plan of pinning and attacking. So doing well on the clock. It's hard for white to actually follow through with any more threats here. Queen h5, of course, is off limits. I do have a distant memory when I was much younger. I was experimenting with opening. I had this position, but my knight was on e7 rather than f6. And then queen h5 would be winning for white. Somewhat of a suppressed memory. I lost one game like that at a chess camp, and then I never put my knight on e7 again, at least in these Italian positions. Opponent's taking their time. Opponent has some lag. Plays queen f3, so maybe trying to attack in some way. But this move actually allows me to attack. I'm going to play knight d4, hitting the queen and the pawn, which is now undefended. And if white wants to save both things, then I think queen d1 is necessary. So I'll essentially win 2 tempi if white plays queen d1. If we see some other move like queen g3, then I'll be happy to take on c2 and then win the rook. The king side is still very safe. Now, another benefit of playing knight d4 is to unleash the c-pawn. It's very typical in these structures to play c6 and then either d5 eventually, or expand with b5, a5. Maybe try and trap the bishop. So I have a couple options here. I could start with c6. I could also start with h6. Kick the knight back and then bishop to g4. Yeah, I think I like that better, pawn h6. And again, if white takes on f7, I'm very happy. I think I'm very happy regardless. No reasons to be sad. All right, let's play bishop to g4. So this is usually more powerful if white's already committed to castling, but it's still looking nice. I won't be in any rush to take. Unless maybe if white plays h3, then taking will make sense. But it's a question what to take with. Bishop or knight? If I take with knight, bishop's still attacked, I move back. But I think taking with bishop actually leads to more attacking potential, because I keep my knight in the center. And I really want my queen to come in. So I'm going to play knight h5 with the idea of queen h4. f2 could be a very clear target. A very typical case of double pawns. Sometimes there's benefits of double pawns, like the g file is now half open for white. We see knight d5. I could start with c6. Or queen h4. Trying to calculate queen h4, knight takes c7, and I have a tricky move, knight e6. Let's go for this. Setting up some tactical trap. I can say, oh no, my pawn. If white takes the pawn, I retreat my knight to attack c7, but also threaten mate in 1. So I unleash the bishop to hit f2. I'm also threatening knight b3 to attack the rook and threaten mate. White plays rook g1, so not really addressing the issue against f2. Now, I would love to check the king, but the problem is, with either of these moves, the queen will take and defend f2. So let's go for knight b3. Oh no, my knight. 3 things can take it, but it's very poisonous. Queen takes f2 is the main threat. Will my opponents see it? With rook g1, white is having some ideas of bishop h6, but there's no time to do it. Like, white should probably play queen e2 here, but that's not played, and that's checkmate. So the poison was consumed. Yeah, if queen e2, it's actually kind of interesting, because if I take the rook, then white gets some counterplay, but still probably very fine. I'd be up a rook, and g7's defended. There'd probably be options like c6, perhaps. So, yeah, checking with eval bar, black is winning in this position. So hopefully a nice example of how to still be aggressive from this symmetrical Italian position. Knight g5 is a common kind of beginner mistake where, yeah, it's not justified if black can just castle. So let's keep it going. Next game, up to 734. And then black again. 3rd game in a row playing black. Opponent does not have the best connection. This time we have a queen's pawn. So I'm playing the Englund Gambit. Let's play the main line of the Englund. Knight c6. Attack the pawn. Most people play knight f3. I think it was episode number 1 I played the Solar Gambit, which is a variation within the Englund, which is f6 on move 2. I could still play a slightly delayed Solar Gambit, but I'm going to play queen e7, attacking the pawn again. And there's a pretty famous line here. If white defends the pawn, I have queen to b4 check, which is a triple attack, hitting the king, the bishop, and the b2 pawn. And there are a lot of videos on this variation online. Probably some on my own channel too, but it's been a while since I've played this from the backside. White should play bishop d2, block the check and save the bishop. I think some beginners might develop the knight not realizing the bishop is attacked. Yeah, and that's the case for my opponent. The lateral queen moves can be easy to miss sometimes. So maybe after the game I can share what could happen after bishop d2, share some of the traps. But good start to this game. 5 moves in, up a bishop. Haven't won back the pawn yet. I'm threatening to take. White should probably play e3, attack the queen. g3 also is a move. Now it's a question where to put my queen. Maybe queen b4. And keep some threats, attacking b2. Now I still want to play aggressively here. Maybe set up more tricks and traps. Win more material. I'm threatening the undefended b2 pawn. And if white wants to defend it, I mean, all the options to defend the pawn are kind of passive. b3 would be a bit weakening. But b3 is played. Not sure if I can exploit this move. It'd be nice to get a knight into c3. I still have to develop too. I might just play f6. Like, I could play queen a5 and attack the pawn, probably win it back. But I think f6 is more in the spirit of this speedrun, where I'm not being materialistic, but I'm prioritizing rapid development. And when the pieces develop rapidly, then tactics are more likely to happen. So white wants to castle, which is actually kind of hard to stop. I mean, I could play this, knight e4, and then into c3. Bishop c5 is probably a more natural move. But let's go for knight e4. This is ultra aggressive. The knight is pinned. If castling, I can play knight c3, hitting the queen. If queen c1, I'll fork. So queen e1 would be necessary. a3 is a fine move, though. Yeah, a3, disturbing my queen. Maybe queen c3. Yeah, keeping the pin. The downside of this move is I won't have knight c3 next. So like castles, then I don't really want to trade. So I think I'll just play d5. Reinforcing the knight. King is still kind of exposed in the center. Okay, we are trading. I do have to be careful of the center opening up. The d file is now open. And this pawn is now attacked twice. So what to do? e3. I do have to be very careful of this backfiring. Queen d5 might be an idea. So I think I'll play bishop to f5. Wait, bishop f5, queen d5. And I can retreat and defend. It's not ideal. There's also queen, maybe queen e5. Give the pawn and then bishop f5. I think I like that better. Now it prevents the queen from coming in. There's a funny idea for white to play queen d8, king takes d8 and knight f7. But there's knight takes d8, so that doesn't work at all. Okay, let's play bishop f5. So developing with tempo. And white has two pawns for the bishop. But walks into a pin. I would really like to castle, but castling is not legal here because also my opponent offered a draw, which I'm going to decline. Yeah, the queen controls d8, so I'll play this move. Attacking the queen. I really just want to complete development. Wow, white counterattacks. Oh, is there any way to win? That's interesting. F4 is a move. If I take the queen, then like my rook and bishop are hit in the end. Bishop c5, king h1. Okay, there is a move here that I'm looking at, which is very simply just retreating the queen, keeping the pressure. I'm going to play this. Like maybe I could have just traded to simplify, like take on e4, but like counterattacks again. So leaving the queen attack twice. But again, I don't think I can win material. Take. There is bishop c5 to throw in. Like I'm looking for ways to set up traps rather than just simplifying. Take. If I start with bishop c5, I think I should just take with the rook. We'll trade queens. And can I somehow trap the knight? And the pawn's attacked. Normal move would probably be rook d7, but I like this move. Rook e3. Going after e2, allowing this, but then this. I still want to try and orchestrate a mating attack. If I can take on e2 and get the bishop in, eventually get the knight in. Yeah, somewhat of a strange sequence in the middle game there. But everything is under control. And white's taking time here. In the knight's attacked, there are, I guess there's a few options. Knight takes c7 should be best. And then reroute to d5. I wouldn't mind if white takes the knight on c6. I would just take back with the pawn. Actually, if white starts with this, I take. Okay, that doesn't happen. So let's attack the knight. I was going to say, if this were included, then the knight wouldn't be able to retreat as easily. So I still have an extra minor piece. Still bishop for 2 pawns. I'm going to throw in this check. Getting ready to bring in the other rook. Already thinking of a potential tactic. If I get the chance after, let's say we trade rooks, I would be threatening rook takes g2, and then bishop e4 check. And then win the knight. Maybe it'll play out. Also just attacking the pawn, actually attacking 2 undefended pawns. White attacks my rook. I'll take the pawn and attack the knight. My opponent really likes to counterattack. Another case where I'm attacking something, but they counter, and if I take, there's takes, and it's just a trade. Bishop h3, there's rook d1. I think I will play bishop h3. Because now the king's completely stuck in the corner. I'm attacking the rook, I'm attacking the knight. Let's say rook d1. I'll probably just slide the king over. Maybe king e6. Oh, my rook was hanging. Wow, I completely missed that. White had rook d1 and bishop takes rook. Oh man. Completely missed that. I let my guard down. I saw this diagonal. I didn't see the full diagonal though. The funny thing is I still have a mating attack. But how to execute? Maybe I should just take... If I can get my bishop to f3... Can my knight come in somehow? Okay, let's just take the pawn. We're going deep into the endgame here. Yeah, b5 is off limits. Yeah, the long distance bishop move. So both me and my opponent missed some diagonals this game. The opponent is giving away more things. Let's try and get some pretty checkmates. Get the king in. I'll let white queen, how about? And bishop c6 is coming. And white has one legal move. Okay, that was a funny game. Probably not the highest quality game by either of us. But my opponent found some like very tricky, creative ways to confuse me. Okay, GG. Do I dare check the accuracy?
You had a nice tactical find in this game. Let's review.
Oh, it's chess.com game review. Can I show this real quick? This is accuracy. Oh, hey, I played like a 1500. Okay. Not sure if that's a compliment or an insult.
Opening with the queen's
Wait,
pawn controls the center and usually leads to a more positional development of the pieces.
I don't want the AI talking to me.
You had a nice tactical find in this game. Let's review.
Wait, okay. I just want to review on my own. So, yeah, just to show, the main move is bishop d2 here. Queen takes b2. And then a lot of amateurs will play bishop c3, which looks very natural to attack the queen and save the rook. But then the famous trap is bishop b4. And if queen d2, first of all, bishop b4 is a pin, so bishop can't take the queen. Queen d2 looks natural, but then takes. And if takes to try and save the rook, then it's checkmate. So that's one of the things I was going for. But my opponent gave me the bishop instead. And then, yeah, I think I was always in control, maybe apart from the moment towards the end there. Just wondering if I had anything better here. Queen e6 is fine. Yeah, this is all fine. But then I just made a complete oversight, missing my rook was attacked. And white was winning for one move. If my opponent plays rook t1, it's +3 in white's favor. Oh man. It's not the first losing position I've had in this series, but it's probably the biggest blunder I've made this series so far. Anyway, I'm up to 747. Let's play one more. Playing Lab Assassin. I'm finally white after 3 black games in a row. Let's go for a gambit of sorts. Maybe Danish Gambit. Will my opponent take the last pawn? Ooh, knight h6. Alright, let's show no mercy. Although knight h6, are they baiting me into taking so they can take here? That's kind of funny. I've never seen this before. Take, take. But then I have this move. I lose a thing, but then I think it's mate. All right, let's go for this. They might just take back. They go, okay, they're trying to punish me. Wait a minute. If I play this, there's queen f6. And I might actually be in trouble. I have to calculate here. I do have this move. Queen b3. No, this is another mess. Yeah, any move I play to attack f7, there's queen f6. Wow. Like originally I wanted to play queen b3. I thought I'd just win the pawn or win f7, but queen f6 is a big issue. So I think I have to go for queen d4. There's still queen f6. I'm actually in big trouble here, I think. Do I have bishop f7? Maybe that's the way to go. And then this, and then this. Yeah, I think this is the way to go. And if I win b2 in the end of this line, I pin the pawn on the diagonal to the rook. This is a very funny line. Okay, black plays d5, so let's take this pawn. Now what's material? I'm down a pawn. Opponent... Wow, opponent is able to take. I'm the one falling for the tricks and traps. If I play this, there's bishop b4. Oh man. Someone call an ambulance, maybe for me. Alright, let's play knight f3. I'll treat this as a gambit. Even though I'm down a piece and a pawn, I still can't take the rook. But I have knight e5. If king g8, it's force mate with queen b3. Black plays king e8. I can't believe it. I can't believe I walked into just such a crazy trap at this rating level. And it's still interesting. Should still have enough to like trick my opponent. Maybe this move? No. Considering queen e2, but then bishop b4. I think I just want to get my pieces into play. Knight c3, there's queen d4. I think I will play queen. Queen e2. It's kind of hope chess. Knight c3. Okay, how about knight d2? To just try and win this pawn, and then eventually I'll hopefully get my rooks to the center. Okay, that's a blunder. I can take and then win the rook. The tactic no longer works, I don't think. The king's on the wrong square. Okay, now it should be an easy win. Could take... I still haven't castled, but knight and queen can hopefully coordinate. Queen d4. It's actually a good move. Or is it? Attacks the rook. I think now I'll castle. My knight's defended. The rook is now defended as well. And the rooks are connected, so ready to come in and do some damage. Rook e1. Yeah, this king doesn't really have a safe place. Ooh, interesting. There's a funny tactic here, knight c5. It's a double discovery, unleashing the rook and the queen, hitting the bishop twice. I could take the bishop, but this is mate. Okay. Phew. That was maybe a wake-up call. I think I was like significantly worse from this opening. It's an incredible counter trap because bishop takes h6 looks quite attractive, like even acknowledging this move at first, but it's a losing move. Like I should just take the pawn on c3. I'm down a pawn, but there's full compensation because black's committed the knight to the rim, and I can threaten to take on the next move. But yeah, I took the knight a move too early, and yeah, I mean, my original intention was this, allow this. Oh, this is also losing for white. Ah, because there's queen f6. I was calculating king d6 and then checkmate. But okay, black can use his queen to keep the king safe, and then black will arise up material. So even my initial calculation was flawed. Yeah, I played bishop takes f7. Engine says queen d5 is stronger. How does this work? Oh, I can force g6 and then play queen e5 and then... Yeah, because what happened in the game, d5 was a good move. And here, I had missed this idea where if I take the rook, there's bishop to b4, and then oh no, my queen. So, yeah, big kudos to my opponent. I wonder if they've like studied this idea before, or maybe they accidentally just stumbled into it and I was a victim of some accidental tactics. But yeah, white is much, much worse here. Engine says white's completely losing. But then, okay, then my opponent gifted back some material and there's no more tactics. And yeah, the rest of the game was quite nice for white. But this position is still very crazy, like queen d5 and engine says equal. Anyway, I think I'm going to end it there. Hope you guys enjoyed the games today. If you have questions, leave them below, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Stay tuned.